Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much, madam, for inviting me. I'm hoping this will be an interesting session for all of us. Trade is very interesting, and trade, I believe strongly, being in trade is a privilege. I don't know if you see it that way, but I see it that way because and what I'm trying to do this morning is to let you see why being in trade is a privilege. The fact that there are very few you need to work in most organizations, particularly in banks, that you can really do something with what you have learned after you leave. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Such that you are working, you're adding value to the organization, but you're also preparing yourself for whenever it is you are retiring or leaving, because that's what many people sometimes worry about. Because at some point we will leave either voluntarily or compulsorily through retirement, retrenchment, or resignation. At some point we will leave. I mean, that's the reality for all of us. So master trade is got tomorrow. So my goal this morning is to see how you can spend a lot of your energy to add value to the bank, but while doing that, helping yourself. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I mean, right? Because let me tell you my definition of work. W-O-R-K. Society defines work as way of rewarding know-how. I like to define it as where one receives knowledge. Can you see the difference? Can you see the difference, right? And definition make a lot of difference in our lives. If, as I'm talking to you here, if I stand on this place and I'm talking, what will you think? Don't spare me. Just tell me what comes to your mind. Don't spare me. Eh? I like that. I don't think. What's wrong with you? Why you? Because this table is what? It's not a platform to stand, right? So I'm not defining it correctly by standing on it. I'm trying to tell you the power of definition. That the way you relate with something is based on the way you define it. The way you define it. So the way we define what we do is very important. And that's what I'm hoping to achieve this morning. Okay, now, so the objective of this session is number one, to identify career opportunities in international trade, to develop essential trade skill, to explore entrepreneurship in trade, to highlight the financial benefit of trade skill, to explore post-employment career paths, to highlight the demand for trade skills, to identify essential skills for career success in trade, and explore global trade opportunity. Unfortunately, because of the lighting, I understand we can't switch it off. We are not able to see the screen very well, but I will try as much as possible to project what I'm trying to do. So, table of content, I have a preamble. I'll paint a picture. I'll talk about the possibilities, talk about the post-employment opportunities. I'll talk about the programs that can maybe achieve that, and the proofs, evidence of those that have done it and how it has helped them. Why international trade? This international trade is very important. Number one is because the world is a trade center, right? The world is a trade center. The world is a trade center. Global trade right now. Can someone guess what's global trade volume? Anybody? Global trade volume? Suggestion? It's good you know that figure, right? Because you process this transaction every day. A guess, no right answer, no wrong answer, please. Just guess. Someone said? Global trade figures are last year. Eh? Fantastic. Fantastic. Put your hands together for her, please. Put your hands down. Who spoke? $33 trillion. Out of that, trade in goods is about 24, trade in services is about $8-9 trillion. But about 24 of that is trade in goods. Do you know how much of that is done in Africa? And even Nigeria? But I'm trying to say the world is a trade center. Most of the time when you see a lot of fight going on, most of the time, it has to do with trade. Why? Because the world is a trade center. Any country today you see that is developed because they are trading. Just think of any developed country from the US. US is the largest importer. China is the largest exporter. China is the second largest importer. US is the second largest exporter. And you know that these are the two major economies in the world before you talk about Germany, Japan, and the like. But any country you see that is a big developed country, they are mainly developed because they have money. And they have money because they are big traders. Trade is the lifeline of any nation. The reason Nigeria is where we are today, I hope you know it's trade, right? I hope you know. Why are we spending a lot of money to buy our basic needs? Because of what? Because of what? we are an import-dependent nation. And that means we have to spend a lot of dollars. And we are not generating enough dollars. Since dollar is in short supply, the law of demand and supply say where there is a low supply, what happens to the price? The price will go up. There is high demand, the price will go up. That's actually what is driving up. If today we have become a major supplier, a major exporter, and CBN have enough forex, imagine Nigeria having like 70 billion, the way we had during Soludo, $60 billion. Dollar will crash now, the rate will crash. Because it's easy for CBN to what? Intervene in the market and crash the rate. But we can only do that if we do a lot of what? Export. Trade is a lifeline of any nation. Trade skill is a tool for global career expansion. It's a tool. The beauty of trade skill is that even if tomorrow you start to Japan, because I'm sure some people here are going to Japan. Am I right? Can you imagine? the years was very fast. Now, but what that means is that because it's trade skill, trade is the same everywhere in the world. Trade is the same. Yeah, Canada trade is the same. US trade is the same. China trade is the same thing. The same bill of lading you are working with Nigeria is what they work with abroad. That's why there is a rule that guides trade. There's a rule that guides trade. So because there's a rule that guides trade, that means even though Chinese have a different way of reasoning, different reality, different perception, but we are going to interpret bill of lading different ways, the same way. There's a rule, Article 20 of UCP define how we are going to treat a bill of lading, how we are going to review a bill of lading for payment. So there's a rule. So there's not that someone would think, no, this is what I think. That's not possible. So anywhere you find yourself, if you master that skill, you know that sometimes a number of people have left Nigeria for one reason or the other, and they trade. But when they go abroad, some of them have to be forced to do some of this because nobody will give you some of those things to do if they don't have anything to prove that you can do it. You can't just say, put it on your CV that I can do it. A third party must validate that you can do it. Am I making sense, please? How does a third party validate you can do it? Through certification programs. You can practice trade as an employee or employer. Trade as an employee working in an organization, as an entrepreneur whenever you decide to retire from paid employment. There are many trade options for employee and entrepreneur, and I'll talk about them shortly. And there are trade certification to boost your skill. So, area of specialization, number 1, international trade management. Number 2, international trade finance. Number 3, global supply chain management. Number 4, custom brokerage and trade facilitation. Number 5, international logistics and transportation. Number 6, international marketing and sales. Number 7, international business development, trade policy and negotiation, international trade law, rule and compliance, international trade consulting. Do you notice something? For what I've read? What did you notice? Anybody? No. Okay, yes, but what did you notice? I read different things. What comes to your mind? Value chain in trade, It's broad. There's so many areas. You know, when we are here, you see document, right? You are handling part of it, but you can think of other areas. There's so many other areas. You see document, but for every document you see here, something has moved. Either via air, or sea, or road. Something is moving, even though you are seeing document. And for that thing to move, a lot of things have happened in the process. So it's a chain. It has so many parts to it.